Hi everyone. I wanted to go over some guidelines for preparing images for the Vanguard Historical Society. So first off, if you've got some photo prints, you want to start with as clean an image as possible. So if you can do it without damaging the photo, you want to remove the photo from any protective covering that's on it. If you find that there's something that's damaging as you're trying to remove it, then keep it on and scan the image before you damage it. Um, Also, if you have something that's able to come off with a little bit of finesse, but it's sticking a little bit, one trick you can use is try to slide dental floss in between the image and whatever it's stuck to. So next, you want to make sure that your scanner is clean. I'm gonna show you with my flatbed scanner here. Some folks might use a spray can like this, just a compressed air can. I recommend not actually using that because you can get some dust up in the corners of your scanner and it's hard to remove. So I'm just going to wipe down my scanner with a couple of cloths. I've got some lint-free cloths here. I'm going to use one as a dry cloth, one as a wet cloth. If you don't have microfiber cloths, you can use a t-shirt. That also works pretty well. So I'll take my dry cloth here and just loosely brush off any dust here. Then I'll take my wet cloth, spray it with a little window cleaner, and then I'll wipe off the glass with that. And then I'll dry it off with my dry cloth. And we're good to go. I want to go through the scanning application and actually scan some photos to show how that's done. I'm using a program called Image Capture, which comes with Mac OS. It's pretty basic, but it does everything that we need it to do. You may have a different application that came with your scanner, so that will work as well. And for the specs here, you want to refer to the text in the Vanguard Historical Society webpage. For up-to-date specs, they may change after I record this, but here's what they are for now. We're going to pretend that these are 4x6 photos of the core. Obviously, they're just postcards here since that's what I had lying around. But for a 4x6 photo, we're using, well, if you have a setting that allows you to scan in pixels, you want to use that and set the pixels directly. This application doesn't let us do that, so instead we're using 600 dpi for a 4x6 photo. And another handy feature that this application has is its auto selection. This will try to detect images that are on the scanner and save a different image for each one. So I did this overview scan and it didn't quite get the border of this one correctly, so I'm going to drag this to move it. That should be all set. And there's some detail in scvanguard.org/history about how we want to name files. For the sake of this, we're going to pretend that this is the Vanguard A-Core in 2001, and it's from a collection that Eric Brown sent. And then we've got my initials as the scanner, and they're going to end in a number. So this will automatically append a number to the end of each file that starts with this naming convention. So the first one will end in 1, the next one will end in 2, the next one will end in 3, and so on. And we're scanning in JPEG. So that should be all set, and I'll hit scan, and these will save to my computer. Let's go over some things that you might want to do to photos once you've got the digital files on your computer. First off, there might be some that are in the wrong orientation. What you can do with this is open it in Preview. For me, Preview is a default application that opens when I double click on a file, on a photo file, but If it opens in some other application here, you can right click and then go to Open With and choose Preview. So from here, you want to go to the Tools menu and rotate left. There's also a rotate right, and then save this and close it, and that should be good to go. The next thing you might want to do, you might have a bunch of files that you've gotten from your phone or your digital camera that come with some kind of default file name convention. We want to change these to capture the information that we talked about. So I'm going to click on one of them at the end of the batch and hold Shift. Click on one at the beginning of the ones that I want to rename. And then right click and rename 3 items. And this will give you some options. It may start with this replace text option, but what you want to do is change this to format. And you want to choose name and index for the name format. So in here, I'm going to put in this naming convention that I talked about to capture the information that's common to all these photos. And then after the name, you want to start the numbers. So this will give you this example here. In this case, it's going to start with 4 because I set it to start at 4. You can change this based on whatever file names you already have. So you could change it to 10. It'll start at 10 and hit rename. And that should be all set.